Our topic is investing in music and music tech, and we have a very esteemed panel of veterans. Harry DeMott is general partner of Raptor Ventures. There's kind of rapture when we go to when we go to your South by Southwest events every year.
I have a wide variety of comments and could probably go on for the rest of the panel on it.
Well, good.
Let's see, we got 45 minutes. Phil.
Go ahead.
On one hand, you have a record amount of venture capital money going, being put to work and being raised, and I think that's largely a function of where, the stock market is, where interest rates are. People are looking for returns and they can't get them in a lot of historical places, and so they turn to what they see in the papers, Ubers of the world. $40 billion valuation, private company. How do you get at stuff like that? A company like Uber would be a public company, 10, 15 years ago.
Definitely.
And today it's just not, and therefore they're able to put to work billions of dollars into that type of company, very quickly and efficiently in that market, which then gets counted as private equity or it counts as VC money, and it just sort of skews the statistics. And then you look at the music business. Never before have you had, I would say, the ubiquity of music and the availability of music to the average, individual out there. People look at the music industry through the lens of, what happened in 1999, the peak of the recorded music business, and it's just the industry has changed. In terms of getting money to services, I think the fragmentation argument is correct to some degree. You have a ad-supported business where it has to deal with the CRB, and you're having a fight, between Pandora and the CRB, or Pandora being the proxy for the free radio industry on streaming, and that fight's going to take until they settle it, until Pandora has to go out and basically shut down potentially, and shut down the switchboard at the Capitol again, and make sure that people understand that, when they generate $1 billion in ad revenues and then go out and send 550 or 600 million of it back to the music industry, that becomes it's sort of a tough business for them. When then the music industry, as represented by the CRB, then says, no thanks, actually we don't want the 500, we actually want the whole billion.
The rates are up for review right now. There's a very heated arguments going on in Washington.
If one proponent gets their way, Pandora and everyone else of their ilk will go out of business effectively. So it's sort of a weird argument in that you sort of say, okay, I'll give you what you want. Great, I'm bankrupt. So now you get nothing. The $600 million you're counting on disappears. That's a tough argument to make. And the other side says, I just want to pay you less, or let's just conform the rates between radio, where you literally used to pay the radio industry to play your records. Now it's called marketing support or something else. And they pay zero. And you have streaming services that are paying 55 cents on the dollar. It's really hard for an investor to look at that and say, if you don't settle that issue, you don't have a business. Therefore, how could I invest in you?
But the point is, if you're an investor and you're looking at this, and all of a sudden these deals are going to change, and a large part of the audience, the users that you have, could go away, and you're left with just the paid subscription users. That's a tough thing to figure out.
And our time frames are 5 to 10 years. On these private companies. Right. So, Pandora, from the day I got into the day it IPO'd, was 6.5 years. Yeah. We almost put it under 3 times, right?
Yeah.
It was Savage Beast originally.
Yeah, it was Savage Beast. So it was a long. You need some level of certainty that at least you can run your business, which is why I think that, to some degree, a lot of these services that we're talking about, the on-demand services, literally just become, for lack of a better word, utilities. It's a $10 utility to get music, and then the question becomes, and now what? And there is a need for, a music service that actually provides good playlists, because quite frankly, all these track-on-demand guys need a freemium model. Mm-hmm. That freemium model needs to be driven by something, and quite frankly, no one's very good at it. Relative to Pandora with 100 billion clicks or something like that. It's a big data set, really hard to overcome that. So I think where you're going to see investment in music is around the edges, where you can look and say, there will be music companies in business, and where can I find that's actually a value add within that ecosystem without having to deal with the labels and everybody else.
Yeah, and you're seeing some
So
some
I want to
tangible
agree with you on
success.
that, Harry. I want to agree with you.